Spent the weekend preparing as another storm heads their way. We're tracking Tropical Storm Nicholas this noon. Sarah Spivey has your forecast. Justin Horn is live along the coast to give us a look at the current conditions.
And we have new details about a deadly crash that happened this morning. What police are now revealing about the investigation this noon.
Live from KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
Another tropical storm threatening communities all along the Gulf Coast, and this time it's nasty weather that could affect us here in San Antonio.
Justin Horn and Sarah Spivey bring us team coverage this noon, tracking Nicholas on radar and on the ground. Let's begin here in the studio with Sarah.
Yeah, and I want to first start off by saying we are not going to have major direct impacts from Nicholas locally here in San Antonio. Instead, what we're going to be seeing is what some folks are seeing outside right now, which is scattered downpours. So scattered downpours are around San Antonio today, but it's our coastal counties of Texas that are in those tropical storm watches and warnings, where coastal flooding is very likely. In some spots, more than 10 inches of rain are possible. But as I mentioned, here in San Antonio, we're really only going to be dealing with some scattered downpours throughout the day today, and that's it. No risk for tropical storm force winds or anything like that. In fact, we're seeing one of those little bands that's been flung our way out near Canyon Lake. Some good healthy downpours tracking all the way down to near Schertz and the Selma area through downtown San Antonio. This is moving to the west, and where it does rain, the rain is falling hard, but the good news is this is moving. So again, we're not even any real risk for flooding here in San Antonio. It's a different story though for the coastal communities. Here's a look at Tropical Storm Nicholas, where it is right now about 100 miles south of Port Aransas. It's got sustained winds of 60 miles per hour, gusts of up to 70, and it's moving north at about 12 miles per hour. Nicholas is anticipated to make landfall somewhere along the middle Texas coast, right near Matagorda Bay, late this afternoon and into the early evening hours. And then it'll be moving up, creating a lot of rain and flooding potential for the Houston, Galveston area. But Corpus Christi already seeing the effects from Tropical Storm Nicholas. I want to show you some video here that was sent in by Patty Acosta. Now, this is Swantner Park out there near Corpus Christi, and the storm surge has started to splash up against the seawall there. That's what you're seeing. There's a storm surge of approximately about 3 to 5 feet possible in the Corpus Christi Rockport area. Further to the north near Port Lavaca, that's where we're anticipating landfall later this afternoon and into the evening hours. In Port Lavaca, we've got our very own meteorologist Justin Horn there out in the storm chaser. Hey, Justin, what are you seeing out there? Winds picking up, obviously I can hear, and I can see the splashing of the sea behind you, but what's going on out there?
Hey there, Sarah. Winds are picking up. We've seen some gusts, maybe 25 to 30 miles per hour. Seas are picking up. We expect them to get a little bit worse as we get later into the afternoon, as you mentioned, as Nicholas gets a little bit closer. Nicholas has been a little bit of an erratic storm, and you'll talk about that here in just a little bit. It depends on which side of the center of circulation we'll be on as to what our storm surge is going to look like here. But we think that there could be 2 to 4 foot storm surge where we are. We're headed down to Port O'Connor a little bit later, getting a little bit closer to the coast to keep an eye on things. Some folks here are boarding up windows as a precaution, but I think rainfall is going to be the main issue that we're going to be dealing with here. And then maybe a little bit of storm surge. There are some tropical storm warnings in effect as you get closer to the coast. We're going to talk much more about that and talk about what's going on here in Port Lavaca coming up in just a bit. Guys.
Thank you very much, Justin. Yeah, he's out there in Port Lavaca again, and he'll be heading to Port O'Connor a little bit later today as well. But as Justin was mentioning, the biggest thing from Nicholas is going to be the potential for flooding rains along the Texas coast. Again, not so much here in San Antonio, but across the Texas coast. So coming up, we'll take an in-depth look at those potential rainfall totals, as well as where Nicholas is heading for the remainder of the first part of the week here in just a few minutes. Ursula.
Thank you, Sarah. New this noon, police arresting a suspect from Saturday's deadly hit-and-run crash on I-35.
Officers say tips from the public helped track the man down. Police say they arrested the driver, 29-year-old Bradley Knight, at his home in New Braunfels and took him to the Comal County Jail. He has since been bonded out. He charged is with accident involving death. The victim from Saturday's crash has since been identified as 54-year-old Jim Newcomer from Dale, Texas.
Also new this noon, police are hoping you can help them find this woman. Officers say she may have some information about a child sexual assault case. Police say
these surveillance images were from a convenience store camera in the 200 block of West Commerce. If you can help officers find this person, call the Special Victims Unit at 210-207-2313.
One of the pre-K for SA campuses forced to close for the day after several classrooms. Parts of the school were vandalized early this morning. A spokesperson with pre-K for SA says the staff came to the campus in the 5200 block around 6 a.m. They found the building's alarms were activated. Staff did not go inside the building, but instead called 911. When San Antonio police and fire showed up, they found an intruder inside. Police removed the intruder and took him into custody. A spokesperson says significant damage had been done to several classrooms and other common areas in the campus. At this time, it is not known if charges are going to be filed against the person involved, but we do know that the campus will reopen tomorrow.
New details this noon. A driver has been booked after a crash early this morning that killed 2 women. Gabrielle Guyton is charged with 2 counts of intoxication manslaughter and 2 counts of failure to stop and render aid. Witnesses told San Antonio police they saw that driver speeding and running a red light moments before the SUV was driving T-boned the victim's car. It happened on Highway 16 at South Zarzamora. As Katrina Weber reports, police say they found the driver walking away from the crash.
Help came quickly, but San Antonio police say there was no hope, that the 2 women in this car died almost on impact. Witnesses told them their sedan was turning from Highway 16 onto South Zarzamora when a northbound SUV broadsided it around 4:30 this morning. Police say those people also told them they saw the woman in the SUV speeding and run a red light, causing the crash. Her vehicle finally came to a stop down the road, but that woman behind the wheel did not stop. Police say after the crash, the driver of that SUV left the scene, but they say they did catch her walking down the highway and took her into custody. Although she had only minor injuries, paramedics took her to a hospital where police say she would be tested for intoxication. The crash shut down the northbound lanes of Highway 16 for hours. Investigators had to take their time, carefully mapping out what happened. Police say while they're still gathering all the facts, they can clearly see that car was hit hard by a vehicle that had to be driving at an especially high rate of speed. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
We want to bring you the latest on the coronavirus crisis. Millions of children back in the classrooms, and this at the same time that pediatric cases of the virus are surging across the country.
The FDA cautioning parents that the vaccine is not yet approved for children under 12 who can spread the virus. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Steve Lance and his wife are vaccinated, but still his family of 4 coming down with COVID after his kids recently returned to school, even with a mask mandate.
It was just that first week of lots of contact with other kids. And it's one of those things, you send your child to school, they're in a classroom, but they're not just in contact with everyone in that classroom, they're in contact with everyone that those classmates have come in contact with.
A concern for many parents as kids resume in-person learning. The Department of Health and Human Services says more than 2,500 children are currently hospitalized with COVID-19 nationwide.
It's never been this crazy, never been this busy. It's exhausting all of us. And our biggest concern, of course, is that sick kids aren't getting the care they need.
Los Angeles, the nation's second largest school district, requiring shots for public school students 12 and up. For those younger than 12, the FDA urging parents not to get them vaccinated ahead of FDA approval, saying in part, children are not small adults.
We don't know the right dosing for kids under 12. It may be different. We haven't seen the data on safety and effectiveness in kids under 12.
The FDA promising not to cut corners in the approval process for children. President Biden doubling down on vaccine mandates, now saying businesses with more than 100 employees must require proof of vaccination or offer weekly COVID testing.
We're going to protect vaccinated workers from unvaccinated coworkers.
If we want our economy to be back, if we want our schools to stay in session, we've got to take steps to make sure workplaces and learning environments are safe.
In New York City, enforcement begins today for the indoor vaccine mandate.
According to the CDC, new data shows that unvaccinated people are 10 times more likely to be hospitalized and 11 times more likely to die from the virus than those who are fully vaccinated. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
The pandemic has shown us a lot of things, mainly that are making your health and wellness is a priority. And that's important. And as more people are focusing on their mental and spiritual, physical health, we want to help you reach those goals. That's part of the goal of a live stream this afternoon. I'm going to be joined by a panel of experts all ready to answer your questions. Each person taking part specializes in fields designed to help you on your journey to your best self. If you have any questions, you can submit them online. Just go to KSAT.com. And you can watch the discussion this afternoon at 2 on our website or on the KSAT app.
We are looking outside with live cam. Murky out there. You know, we're kind of concentrating on what's going on down south around Port Lavaca because of that tropical depression. But here, I'm hoping we get some rain out of this.
We are getting a little rain from Tropical Storm Nicholas as we speak.
It's a storm, not a depression.
Yeah,
We've moved on because he has a name, right?
That's right, exactly. Wind speeds of greater than 39 miles per hour, you become a Tropical Storm Nicholas. Turning in the northern Gulf, starting to impact areas along the Gulf Coast there. We'll take a look at Nicholas in a bit, but first I want to give you your local forecast. The aquifer is down about 1/10 of a foot over the past 24 hours. Molds are moderate, and fall elm actually makes an appearance as moderate in our pollen count. It is the season for fall elm, of course. And of course, let's take a look at Tropical Storm Nicholas, where it is about 100 miles south of Port Aransas, and it is going to be bringing a lot of rain to the Texas coast. That's the biggest threat from Nicholas, but how will it affect our weather here in San Antonio? I've got a look ahead coming up.
Looking for a little rain from Nicholas. That would be nice.
A little.
Be better
Something.
Than something.
A little, but too much rain across the Texas coast. That's where we're really going to have some flooding issues. That's the primary threat from Nicholas, the flooding across the Texas coast, while as here in San Antonio and the broader metro area, we're really going to be on the more dry side of things. But there are a few showers out there right now as we speak around San Antonio. Looking at Tropical Storm Nicholas, again, 100 miles south of Port Aransas. It's got sustained winds of 60 miles per hour right around that center. But it is moving pretty quickly north at about 12 miles per hour. So here's a look at Nicholas's track. It is expected to make landfall sometime late this afternoon into the evening hours, right along the middle Texas coast, Matagorda Bay area, just to the east of Rockport. It could make landfall as well, again, late this afternoon and into the early evening. And then Nicholas will be moving inland north of Port Lavaca, even potentially near Hallettsville. That is in the KSAT 12 viewing area, of course. And we'll continue to keep you updated in Lavaca County. But it does look like it's going to bring a lot of rain to the Houston-Galveston area before eventually becoming a tropical depression as it moves into Louisiana, bringing a lot of rain there as well. So where exactly is the tropical storm force winds going to be? Well, it looks like Port Lavaca area. That's where we could see wind speeds potentially of 55 to 74 miles per hour sustained, and then moving into inland toward the Houston and Galveston area, 40 to 55 miles per hour wind speeds by tomorrow morning. And again, the winds, they'll be strong at times, even potentially damaging at times, but the biggest threat from Nicholas is going to be the flooding potential. There is still a good portion of the Texas coast that's under a hurricane watch from Padre Island National Seashore all the way up toward the Galveston area. This is where there could be some of those wind gusts of up to 74 miles per hour. And we've already seen some storm surge near Corpus Christi. 3 to 5 foot storm surge is entirely possible for the Rockport, Port Lavaca area. And on top of that, there is a tropical storm warning for just about all of the Texas coast, because most of the Texas coast is going to see at some point perhaps a 58 mile per hour wind gust or greater. there, and most of the Texas coast, close to the coastal areas, storm surge of 2 to 4 feet as well. Tropical storm watch does extend out to Lavaca County, as we were mentioning, and out toward DeWitt County as well. But those areas are really going to be on the tail end of those gusty winds, maybe gusts of up to 45 to 50 miles per hour for you, Hallettsville and Cuero. Otherwise, again, as I mentioned, the flooding risk is going to be the biggest issue. There are some spots along the coast that could see 10 to 15 inches of rain. That does include the Houston, Galveston area, Matagorda Bay area, as well as areas just near Corpus Christi could see 5 to 7 inches of rain. But notice the steep drop off in rainfall. Here in San Antonio, we're going to see less than an inch. In some places around San Antonio, no rain will fall today, but we do have a couple of showers out there right now. We'll get to that in a minute, but first I do want to check in with meteorologist Justin Horn. He's out in the storm chaser. Justin, what part of Matagorda Bay are you at, and what are you seeing out there?
So we're in Port Lavaca on the west side of Matagorda Bay, and more specifically Lavaca Bay. Okay, so Lavaca Bay is connected to Matagorda Bay, but it's kind of all the same here as far as effects, what we're expecting today. You saw some of that storm surge there around Corpus Christi. We're expecting some of that here, 2 to 4 feet. So far, we haven't seen it yet, but as that storm gets closer, it will pick up some. I want to show you what's going on here behind me. This is the marina in Port Lavaca, and you can see the boats shaking around a little bit, but so far, not a big problem. We've had some bands come through, some heavier rain. We're seeing that right now, and when those bands come through, the winds typically pick up some. We've seen some gusts maybe up to around 30 miles per hour. I mentioned that storm surge earlier. One thing that's going to help us is that low tide occurs this evening, tonight. So that works in our favor. And as far as storm surge here, it's going to depend on where that center of circulation moves. Nicholas has been a little bit erratic as far as its movement. And so depending on which side of that circulation on, it's going to have a big bearing on exactly kind of where that water moves through Matagorda Bay. But we'll be here to watch it. Port Lavaca, the city of Port Lavaca is boarding up some of the windows just as a precaution. But as Sarah pointed out, winds are not going to be the biggest factor here. It is going to be rainfall, and the rain has been coming down for a better part of a couple of hours here now. We expect it to pick up even more as Nicholas gets a little bit closer this evening. Sarah.
That's right, Justin. And you bring up a good point about the rain. Something that we'll be watching is a lot of the heavier rain will also happen in the evening hours. And of course, any kind of flooding that occurs in the evening is very dangerous because folks can't see the water rise all that well. But as we mentioned earlier, here in San Antonio, we're going to be fairly quiet other than a couple of tropical bands making their way through the area. You can see that some folks are even dealing with sunshine, like Hondo and Bernie and even up toward Kerrville. But there's plenty of cloud cover out there. That's what's keeping our temperatures down. And also a passing shower helped too. We're still at 76 in San Antonio, but it's in the 80s out toward Uvalde and Hondo. I want to show you the radar here. Here is Nicholas, okay? But as we get a little closer to San Antonio, we've been flung one of those tropical bands from downtown San Antonio all the way up to Comal County and Canyon Lake, getting a good, healthy shower as well. From Fisher down to Canyon Lake, down to Startsville and Smithson Valley. Also Bulverde, Timberwood Park, you're seeing some rain as well right now. Near Johnson High School, Hollywood Park, and out just inside of Loop 410 there on the west side. Now these are also putting down some healthy rain as well. Even though they're moving, they've got rainfall rates of up to 7 inches an hour, but they're moving. So instead what they're likely putting down is a quick quarter to half inch of rainfall in the area. All right, so what have we got in San Antonio? Again, look at all this rain for the coast. That's going to provide some flooding for those areas. We may get flung another band or two of tropical downpours, but as Nicholas moves to the east, we're actually going to be on the dry side of this. Maybe an isolated shower tomorrow, but that's about it. It's going to stay dry here in San Antonio, and so for the rest of your Monday, expect those scattered downpours from those tropical bands, a high of only 85, east-northeast winds at 10 to 20, gusts up to 25, but no tropical storm wind gusts for us. We don't have to worry about the winds. And then again, only isolated rain for the remainder of the week. Temperatures will rebound back into the 90s. David and Ursula.
Thank you, Sarah.
The Texans surprised a lot of folks yesterday, but not themselves when they opened up the season against the Jaguars. Highlights coming up.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
The Texans open their season at home without Deshaun Watson, taking on the new-look Jacksonville Jaguars. Got to give the Texans credit. With all the distractions this offseason, they were ready. Houston turned a third down into a first down 4 times on their first drive. Mark Ingram finished it off. It's 7-0. Next drive, Tyrod Taylor, David Johnson, 7-yard touchdown, 14-0 Houston after one. Second quarter, number 1 overall draft pick Trevor Lawrence having a rough start to his career. He's picked off for the second time in the quarter. Texans got a field goal out of that, and then before the half, Taylor finds Danny Amendola for the 8-yard touchdown. Houston up 27-7 at halftime. Texas defense takes over from there. Fourth quarter, Lawrence is picked off for a third time. Houston picked off the rookie 3 times. That is how many picks they had all of last season. Then how about Whitney Marsalis getting the sack on Lawrence? Here is your final from Houston. They get it 37-21. Houston now 1-0. And after the game, the Texans talk about how important to get this win since there's been nothing but negative press about them since last season.
The only noise that matters to this franchise and this team is the noise inside this building, in this room. And that's the only noise that's mattered to us. That's the reason, as I said before, when we went out and played this game today, and if we did things the right way, we'd have a chance to win the game. And we did that today, and we won.
Since day one, Coach Kelly has made it important that we not focus on just the outside perception or what the outsiders say. And I think that was something that the guys leaned on in the locker room, just playing for one another, not necessarily doing it for anything outside of what's in the locker room.
All right, now it's going to get a little tougher for the Texans. Next week, they travel to Cleveland to take on Baker Mayfield and the Browns. They lost to the Chiefs yesterday, but they were winning all the way up until the very end of the game. So that'll be a tough one for the Texans. And then the Cowboys travel to California to take on the Chargers next Sunday afternoon.
A local teen skipping class, landing himself in some deep trouble and deep water. We have details on this crash coming up in our next half hour. Tropical storm Nicholas strengthening just off the Gulf Coast and could turn into a hurricane hitting Texas.
That storm could bring heavy rain and floods to coastal areas from Mexico to storm-battered Louisiana.
We have team coverage this noon, and we're going to start with Justin Horn live in Port Lavaca.
Hey there, good afternoon to you guys. Yes, we are in Port Lavaca. We've been watching the winds pick up a little bit here, the swells pick up a little bit, but nothing that they can't handle here. We did talk to the city of Port Lavaca a little bit earlier, where they were boarding up some windows purely as a precautionary thing, as winds are forecast to pick up here. We could see some gusts, 60, maybe 70 miles per hour. You mentioned it could strengthen into a hurricane. Regardless of whether or not it's a strong tropical storm or a weak hurricane, I think the effects will be the same. We'll get some storm surge here, we'll get some heavy rain, and we're going to be close to the edge of sort of the western side of this, I think, which will dictate whether or not we get a big storm surge or not. But the waves are already picking up some. The winds have picked up. We've had a couple of rain bands come through, and when those rain bands come through, the winds often pick up, and we've seen some gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Conditions will worsen as we get throughout the course of the afternoon. We are going to go down to Port O'Connor, which is a little bit further south of here on the west side of Matagorda Bay, and that's where we expect that the conditions will be pretty rough this afternoon and this evening before this thing moves away. And thankfully, it doesn't look now like it's going to linger that much. So that means rainfall may not be as bad as we once thought here on the Texas coast, which is a good thing. But we'll continue to watch it throughout the afternoon, and we'll be bringing you live updates, guys.
All right, Justin, thank you.
So that's a look at what it is on the coast. What's it doing down there? So what's it doing here?
Well, it's providing a little bit of rain here, but just briefly and in pockets, all right? It's slinging around that tropical moisture, those outer bands. So a few splash and dash quick showers locally around San Antonio, but that is it. As for the Texas coast, Justin was mentioning that in the area that he's at, which is Port Lavaca near Matagorda Bay, the rainfall amounts may not be all that bad there, but for the Houston and Galveston area, this is still going to just parallel that Texas coast and bringing them a lot of forecast rainfall, which is unfortunate and could lead to some flash flooding issues. Meanwhile, here's Tropical Storm Nicholas right now with 60-mile-per-hour winds right around the center, though. That's where the tropical tropical storm force winds are right around that center of 60-mile-per-hour winds with gusts of up to 70. It is expected to make landfall late this afternoon and into the evening hours near Matagorda Bay, Port Lavaca area right there. That's where Justin is. And then it'll be moving onshore throughout the day Tuesday and slowly moving across the Houston metro area. Even notice that if we've got some of our KSAT viewers in Lavaca County right now near Hallettsville, they might be concerned about being in the path of this potential storm, but they're going to be on the western side of this, which is not that bad of a side of the storm. And so could have a few gusts of up to 50 miles per hour possible, but still most of the heaviest rain will fall on the west side of that system. So what can we expect from Nicholas here in San Antonio? Just some scattered downpours today. That's it. While the coastal counties, there are plenty of coastal counties under tropical storm watches and warnings, and of course coastal flooding is very likely. We do have some of those downpours as I speak moving through the KSAT 12 viewing area. Comal County just to the west side of Canyon Lake, a quick shower there. Bulverde, Timberwood Park, even some heavy rain on the 1604 on the north side right now. And these are moving and grooving, and so they'll drop some heavy rain for a brief few minutes or so, but then they're moving to the west. So we're not worried about flooding here, but coming up in the forecast, we'll talk about those coastal communities that could see some flooding, and we'll talk about our forecast locally around San Antonio for the remainder of the week. Ursula, David.
Thank you, Sarah. Crews with the San Antonio River Authority cleaning up oil and debris coming up out of the river this noon after a teenager drove into the river near Espada Dam this morning. San Antonio police say around 10:30, a 17-year-old was speeding on Mission Parkway, lost control. The driver hit a Park City work truck and another parked vehicle before plunging into the San Antonio River. The driver and two other teenage girls got out of the car uninjured. Police say all four of the teenagers should have been in school.
There was a male driver and two female passengers, and belonging to one of our local high schools. Today they were not at that high school. And then there was another car that was with them, and the two female passengers took off very quickly in that other second car.
Police said the 17-year-old will most likely face charges of driving recklessly and without a license.
A typhoon set to hit Shanghai, China. That's if the storm heading that way remains a typhoon, at least typhoon strength. This will be the first time since 1985 that a typhoon has hit the city. Preparations have already begun in anticipation of this heavy rain and flash flooding from the storm. Over the weekend, the storm battered the Philippines as a super typhoon before then just skimming over Taiwan.
The Senate back in session today, and Democrats are trying to iron out their differences over President Biden's agenda. They need to get the support of every member in their party in the Senate, including moderates. As ABC's Elizabeth Schultze explains, the president is also making a push for the massive budget proposal and bipartisan infrastructure bill by traveling to the West Coast today.
With the Senate back in Washington, a standoff among key Democrats is putting President Biden's agenda at risk.
Yeah, I can't understand why we can't take time. Is it appropriate for one person to destroy two pieces of legislation?
In the 50-50 Senate, and with Republican support unlikely, all Democrats must be on board to pass the ambitious $3.5 trillion budget proposal. It includes funding for priorities like universal pre-K, expanded Medicare coverage, and renewable energy. Committees are racing to finish a draft of the budget bill this week. But West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin says that deadline is too soon, and the price tag is too high.
I think a strategic pause is necessary right now.
Manchin wants the House to first approve the $1.1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill focused on roads, bridges, and internet. But progressive Democrats insist both plans must pass at the same time.
But I happen to think that the needs of the human beings of our country, working families, the children, the elderly, the poor, are even more important.
President Biden today will travel to the West Coast to make a sell for both proposals, which he says are critical to fighting climate change and creating jobs.
The next stop is dealing with the ability to pass the rest of my Build Back Better agenda. Once in a generation investments in our people.
Now, to help pay for that $3.5 trillion budget plan, Democrats are proposing raising taxes on the wealthiest Americans and on big corporations. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Marvel's newest hero fending off newcomers at the weekend box office. We're going to take a look at 5 films still ahead. The Biden administration has ambitious goals when it comes to the future of solar power. The administration releasing a blueprint showing how the nation could move forward, producing almost half of its energy from the sun by 2050. As Max Massey shows us, Big Sun Solar is a local San Antonio solar energy company with a mission to bring solar power to the masses.
It's an ambitious plan. We're excited about it. We think San Antonio is definitely positioned well to achieve the goals.
Jason Pittman and Robert Miggins started their company Big Sun Solar about 6 years ago.
My co-founder Robert and I were thinking of ways to lower the cost of solar so we could bring it to more people. We wanted to leverage my energy background and his technology background, just come up with innovative business models that would bring solar to more people within the community.
And since Big Sun Solar got started, Miggins and Pittman have seen solar power interests become more and more popular. And we are seeing these solar panels more and more around the city.
It's converted into electricity. That electricity is then sent to the building, where the building consumes it, and it lowers the amount of energy they have to buy from the grid.
So the hope is that the future of solar power is not just for people's private homes, but also commercial businesses.
What we really love about solar carports is it does 2 things. It creates solar energy off the roof, of course, that a business like Havant or Cadillac can use to lower their CPS bill, but it also creates covered parking where they can put their new vehicles.
In terms of the goals around the country, businesses are a crucial element to expand clean energy.
You really need the business community to engage, and they are here. One of the reasons is CPS Energy has a great incentive program. You know, they incentivize not only residential customers, but commercial customers to adopt solar.
And the Alamo City is ahead of the curve.
I think something most people may not know is there's already a lot of solar in San Antonio. So I think we're way ahead compared to other parts of Texas.
Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
See, when it's 95, hot and sunny, it pays off.
Yeah, but it's cloudy outside right now.
Yeah,
it's 74.
And look, raindrops on the camera,
we got some raindrops.
too.
Yeah, one of those outer bands from Nicholas has graced parts of San Antonio with a little bit of tropical rain. And it reduced temperatures at the airport, 74 degrees outside at the airport right now. About 1/10 of an inch of rain fell at the airport from this outer band here. Currently seeing some rain near Bergheim and near Leon Springs, as well as right at the intersection of 10 and 1604 on the north side and near SeaWorld. The aquifer is down actually 1/10 of a foot over the past 24 hours. Some of that rain falling there on the recharge zone is just not enough, I don't think, to really have an impact. As far as the pollen count goes, molds are moderate. Those might go up tomorrow because of some of the rain that we're seeing in the area. Fall elm, though, is moderate. It's the season for fall elm, so that makes sense. Coming up, we're going to talk all about Tropical Storm Nicholas. And our meteorologist Justin Horn is live from the Texas coast, where they'll have the biggest impacts from Nicholas.
I just got a weather report from north of Timberwood Park.
And?
It is pouring down rain.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of rain that we're going to see today. Scattered, right? It's not raining everywhere, but where it does rain, you're going to get that heavy tropical rainfall. You know, those big fat drops, all because of Tropical Storm Nicholas. Now, we are not going to have any major impacts from Nicholas. In fact, today, our best chance for rain after today, it's going to be fairly dry for most of the week. It's a different story, though, along the Texas coast, where Nicholas is going to bring potentially flooding rains, storm surge, and in some spots, tropical storm force winds. Here's Nicholas right now, about 100 miles south of Port Aransas. It's got sustained winds at 60 miles per hour. But Nicholas has been a bit erratic. The center has jumped back and forth, and so With this next update that comes out at 1 p.m., we'll see where Nicholas's center actually is and be able to update you on Air Online and the KSAT Weather Authority app. But Nicholas is expected to make landfall near Matagorda Bay at some point late this afternoon and into the early evening hours as a high-end tropical storm. It could briefly strengthen to hurricane status, but at this point, the winds are not the major concern with Nicholas so much as the rainfall is, the potential rainfall is. And when you get storm surge at the same time of heavy rainfall, that storm surge backs up along the bays and prevents a lot of this rain from dumping out. And so that's why, again, flash flooding is a major concern here. Although Nicholas will get a move on, and it'll be moving across the Houston area tomorrow throughout the day, late tonight and tomorrow throughout the day, before eventually becoming a tropical depression, tropical rainstorm for Louisiana and many areas along the Louisiana coast as well. Here's the timing for the wind speeds. Again, the Port Lavaca area, even Rockport could see tropical storm force winds by late tonight into the overnight hours, and then through Houston and Galveston, 40 to 55 mile per hour winds, gusts even higher through the day tomorrow. Hurricane watches are in effect for Padre Island National Seashore area, just near Corpus Christi as well, all the way out toward Galveston. In these areas that are in this hurricane watch, that's where you could see some of the stronger wind gusts, potentially gusts of up to 74 miles per hour or greater, as well as 3 to 5 foot storm surge, which we've already seen out near the Corpus Christi area. Otherwise, there are tropical storm warnings that extend all across the Texas coastline and a bit inland for the potential for 60 mile per hour wind gusts are slightly greater. You'll notice that some of the KSAT counties are under tropical storm watches, including Lavaca and DeWitt County, as well as near Goliad. But further inland, it's going to be more difficult to see those wind gusts. And as we've previously mentioned, the biggest issue with Nicholas is going to be the potential for flooding rains, especially north of Corpus Christi and into the Houston, Galveston area, all along the upper Texas coast. That's where we could have flooding rains of 10 plus inches of rainfall just within the next 36 hours or so. Notice the steep drop off of rainfall potential here in San Antonio. What you see is what you get today, and it's not going to be a ton, even though it was pouring rain, as Ursula mentioned, out near Timberwood Park. It was pouring rain at the airport, and only officially about 1/10 of an inch of rain was recorded at the airport. So we could see maximum 1/2 inch of rain in spots around San Antonio, but the real risk for flooding rains are going to be along the northern coast of Texas, as well as the Houston, Galveston area, right around that metro area. That's where we could see a risk for flash flooding. But as was previously mentioned, Nicholas is yet to make landfall. It's expected to make landfall at some point late this afternoon and in the early evening along the middle Texas coast. Meteorologist Justin Horn, he is out in the storm chaser, and he's made it all the way to Matagorda Bay and near Port Lavaca as well. And Justin, I know you were mentioning earlier that people were boarding up the windows, but the winds don't seem to be all that bad yet, and it's all about the rains, right?
You're exactly right. And the winds have picked up a little bit since we first talked to you back at noontime. I'd say we're seeing sustained winds 20 to 30 miles per hour, maybe a few gusts higher than that. And it really was just 1 or 2 buildings that were boarded up. I think most people here are, again, concerned about the rainfall. That's what they tell us. And we expect that we will get some decent heavy rain here, with the higher totals actually east of here, the way it's looking right now, just based on the fact that that rain shield is really on the east side of that center of circulation. I'll step out of the way real quick, and you can see where some of the rain or some of the higher waves are coming in. The surf is trying to pick up a little bit, but so far it hasn't been anything too terrible. In fact, we've had a lot of onlookers out here, a lot of folks in town just coming to check it out. Now, as it gets later into tonight, probably not something you want to do. Some of these roads could get flooded. It's possible. Storm surge, heavy rain, those two things combining to make for some dangerous conditions here along Matagorda Bay. Our plans are to go down to Port O'Connor here in just a little bit. We'll check out what's going on down there. They're a little closer to the action, and they are expecting some big-time storm surge down there as well, 2 to 4 feet, which could cause a few issues. Thankfully, low tide occurs this evening and tonight, so that's in our favor. That will help us out a little bit. But we'll continue to bring you live reports through the day from here on the Texas coast as Tropical Storm Nicholas gets a little bit closer to us here along the middle Texas coast. Sarah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Justin. Looking forward to your reports later on today. As we've been mentioning here in San Antonio, we're really not going to see any major impacts from Nicholas. What we have seen, though, throughout the day are these outer tropical bands working their way through. In fact, we were looking at a little bit of sun around San Antonio and temperatures in the 80s, but a shower changed that, and we're back down into the 70s. Still some sun in Hondo and up in Sisterdale as well. 84 in Hondo, where there's been some sunshine. 74 here in San Antonio. Looking at the live radar, I do want to highlight a few areas. Our coastal communities, you're the ones that are going to get a little bit more rain than us here in San Antonio. In fact, in Hallettsville right now, Lavaca County getting a good shield of rainfall as well, working its way into DeWitt County. But here's that area of rainfall that Ursula was mentioning, a quick, heavy shower that's been pushing off to the west. We've got some rain near Bergheim, Spring Branch, as well as near Leon Springs, UTSA, the Rim area, and on the west side toward SeaWorld. Alamo Heights, heavy rain falling there right now, just going to be moving quickly to the east. And that's the good news with these, is they're moving. And so we really aren't worrying about any kind of flooding issues around San Antonio. In fact, we're going to be on the dry side of this system of Nicholas for the remainder of the next 36 hours or so, with again the Houston, Galveston area and points east of where Justin is experiencing the flooding rain. So for the rest of your Monday, 40 to 50% chance for scattered downpours, 10 to 20 mile per hour winds from the east northeast, gusts of up to 25 miles per hour. But then we dry out with only isolated rain for the remainder of the week and highs back into the 90s. David and Ursula.
Thanks. We'll be right back. Marvel's Chang Chai and The Legend of the Ten Rings held on to first place in its sophomore weekend at the theaters.
The hero flick brought in $35.8 million for a 2-week total of $145.6 million in North America. Ryan Reynolds' video game themed action comedy Free Guy leveled up from third place into second place, and the horror yarn Malignant debuted in third.